So before we came in and were still in the holding room, I asked them just for one favor, and that is to speak from the heart as honestly as possible, and they promised me that. Because for them, they're like, we want to give our time, knowledge, and expertise to whoever is willing to listen. So they guaranteed me that. But I want to ask you guys a favor, and to say be selfish. I know it's an international day of wada wada, and you're saying, hey, Zimbabwe. No, I want you to go personal and say, I do this, and whatever you're engaging from a selfish point of view, if I can say that. I'm not sure if it's the correct word, but you get what I mean. Like, I want you to leave this place with a tangible solution to how you can digitize your business. Because this panel, the topic is the cost of Zimbabwe not urgently digitizing its professions. Right? So, digitizing professions and the cost. All right? So, let me start with Ruveneko. I'm a fan, not a stalker, just so that we clear the air, right? Give me, I want so that they understand where you've come from. Career background. Like, we can't just say BBC as if it's nothing. Like, it's just that. So, how you picked the current career that you're in.
Okay, good morning or afternoon. It's good to be here, and thank you for calling me to come and be part of this discussion. It's so important to be having these conversations. My career started in high school. I was your Toastmaster, your debater, your drama, your allied arts, and I was always on the stage, and I always enjoyed that. And then in lower six, when there was parent-teacher consultation about what I should study in upper six, after your O-levels, and my English teacher and my drama teacher said to my mom, Ruveneko will just make a brilliant broadcaster. We can just see you on television one day. And they cultivated that. So my English speaking, my understanding, my passion for the English language, my command for communication started in high school. Then when I went to the University of Cape Town, I went to study law. But a lot of things distracted me, particularly my elective studying media, and then my decision to join UCT Radio. So those two things combined completely eclipsed this idea of law, and I then changed my program and I started media. So I joined UCT Radio when I was 20. So since then I've been on radio. So my understanding of media and how to communicate clearly has started from that long ago. And it was a challenge at the time because you're in South Africa where they're so proud of their native languages. You're a Zimbabwean who's Shona, who ignorantly doesn't even understand Zulu. So you can't even now pretend to understand Zulu. So there you are on radio in Cape Town. There's callers, someone will phone and suddenly they break out and toss out, all of that. So the idea to communicate naked by is a job about that. Wasn't like a format you just you just got to connect the dots. I'm telling you, communication is all about perception. It's all about how you respond. My body language can't show on radio, but it's just even So thank you for the call. And now that we are discussing this, we've got to find a way. So my career started then. My first job was in print media. It was at GQ magazine, based in Cape Town at Condé Nast. Hated print because of the deadlines are different to broadcast and all that. So print really just, I didn't really like it. Although I feel sometimes I'm a much better writer than I am a speaker, but I haven't actually gone into that. But so my career from that on the university level to my first job, but then when I moved back to Zimbabwe, joined ZFM as soon as I got back, and we built, from scratch. When ZFM was literally still being constructed, that's when some of us got roped in, and became part of the first private-owned radio station in Zimbabwe, and that was electric. You just feel like, oh my gosh, how did I get the opportunity to be part of such a, who talks of private radio in Zimbabwe, especially in 2012? It was unheard of. What do you mean private? And what do you mean independent to? So it was very, very enthralling to be part of that and when my career built. Remember my first show, I wanted to do the shows I did as early as 2012. And my boss at the time, Super, was like, you want to interview who? Ministers at your age. Firstly, you're a young girl. Secondly, you're young. Thirdly, you're a girl. So that didn't happen, and all I could do for him was produce, because he did a program called Get On With Super. So he had the flagship program at ZFM at the time. And then I just was given my youth program, health, female journalists. This is a real thing. You know, we get given the social topics. And that's all I did. Then when he then answered his call to public office, he handed over his flagship show to me. And I was like, well, I certainly can't be Head On With Super. Let me rebrand it. And I called it The Platform. And then that's how the brand built locally, and the interviews happened, and I see you from podcasts with phone and be like, I listened to your show, and I said,
That's exactly how she sounds.
Come to my office, I need to talk to you, you know, so, but that was all support, you know, until they were saying, actually, we have a topic we want to discuss about women in ICT. We believe you've got a voice. Can we put it on your program? And with radio, you make your money not just from being a presenter. Being a presenter doesn't make you money. It's about those collaborations when a corporate sees the value in your followership and your presentation and says, all right, I think I want to sponsor this. Then that's when you get what you hear thrown about as presenters fees. You know, then when you become a bigger brand, you pay your own presenters fees. But at the beginning, the station owns you, so they decide how much you get paid. But when you then grow, you're not like, no, actually, if you want me to do this show, these are my rates. Tell the client. Yeah.
All right. So just while I go to Lydia, just explain to us how you have digitized your profession. Just think about that, and then.
Okay, sure.
So after everything Rebecca said, I was thinking to myself, people aren't always deliberate about the way they pick their professions. Sometimes you've got mistakes or divine guidance. I mean, when you look at what you have done as a professional, explain to me how you picked yours.
Thank you very much. First of all, I'm honored to be in the presence of Rubenego.
Don't clap, it's my stage. Don't clap.
I'm turning 60 years in August next year.
Can you just look at the 6-year-old lady? I mean, could we start there?
And I got to get the shoes.
I'm the epitome of a woman who was favored. I'm not a Pentecostal Christian, so I'm not going to bore you with the hallelujah means and whatever. I was completely favored. I don't have a degree. I am the CEO of Minerva Risk Advisors, which is the largest insurance consulting company in Zimbabwe. We are affiliated to Aon, which is the largest insurance advisory company in the world. And let me tell you something. One of the things I don't do is mentorship. So at the end of this, please don't come to me and say to me, I would like you to mentor me. One of the reasons I don't do mentorship is who I am today is the sum of many different experiences and exposures that I've had from birth until today, which you will not have the privilege of experiencing. I used to go to school without shoes in Rusabe. Rusabe is very cold, and you get blood seeping through man. Yeah? I have been very fortunate to be in the right place at the right time. What I can tell you on a mentorship basis is have the right space in your mind to follow success. Nobody can tell you how to follow success. Your attitude is what attracts success to you. Hey, in Zimbabwe, we are well known. You know, roadblock. You are in a negative space, you attract negativity. Look at the space that you are in and say, what is within my control that I can do? I'll give you an example. There's a lot of armed robberies happening in the northern suburbs and in the southern suburbs at the moment. And we had a break-in at our house. Fortunately, they couldn't get in. Do you know what I've done? I've now joined Highlands Triple C community. I now have the right to arrest. I now have handcuffs in my house. I am going to be doing neighborhood watches 2 hours per week, driving around with an armed policeman and neighborhood watch. I'm not going to complain about how Highlands police is useless or how the police are not. I'm taking control of my destiny. Hiring entrepreneurs in the digital age, you have so much more at your disposal. I've got a grandson that I live with. He's 10 years old. It was about the digestive system. Now, I think I did the digestive system in Form 3. You guys have got everything at your fingertips. I didn't know anything about digitalization and its impact on business, but I went onto the internet. And I think with the studies that I've done in the last 2-3 weeks, I think I'm heads and shoulders above people who have not gone to research it. So your generation has been blessed with access to information. Information used to be power. Knowledge is power in our day and age. It's not power anymore because everybody has got access to it. So when you go onto your journey of entrepreneurship, don't blame anybody for blocking you because the words are there. Okay, maybe the data companies, they've put up the data so you can't really access it. But if you've got your passion about digitalization and what it means to you, you don't need to go to a classroom. I just educated myself on digitalization. I've got a head of IT who at my workplace deals with that. And I'd never bothered to actually look at it. But when I was kindly invited, I thought, what is it? Let me find out what it's about. And there's absolutely nothing. Instead of circulating jokes about won't work, can't work, use your data for something that grows your digital intellect.
There we go.
That I really, really struggle with as Zimbabweans. Any situation that has got adversity, we are lovely at converting it into a joke. And we stop facing the realities of what it is.
Yeah.
If I could switch in Zimbabweans and switch on the challenge gene, the entrepreneur gene, which says this situation needs a change in thought process, I would be forever grateful to my maker. As young people, as I said, I'm old, I'm behind times, I'm a has-been, but I draw from your youth. And you need to draw from our age, those of us that are there. Thank you very much.
Thanks, and you remember my question?
I do remember your question. So I was just listening to what Lydia was saying, and I feel like I should call her auntie.
No, please. My name's Lydia.
I told you you'd love her.
No, I was just listening to what she was saying about that gene, the joke gene. You know, it's good and bad. I think there's a part of Zimbabweans that need that joke gene.
Yeah.
Because kind of, you know, but to go to a point, which was when you hear your vice president making a speech, and then for weeks on end, there is this meme of it will work, it will not work. Instead of why not offer to be a speechwriter? Why not offer to join the PR team for this Second Republic? And that's where the digitization comes in. Because all it takes is for you to make the right amount of noise and tag the correct people to get the right attention. So if you go on Twitter, for example, and I like, my brother Kuda talked about the power of Twitter. For me, Twitter is my favorite social media platform. I get burnt the most on it, but I get the most value from it. Because I get information at my fingertips, and I'm connected globally, immediately. as soon as I get onto my timeline. So imagine if you decided that, okay, this it will work, it will not work, meme has gone too far, and you actually tag the vice president, tag the president, tag Matigari, tag Kudamsa Siwa, tag Ruveneko, tag Mahere, tag Chasi, tag the people who you know make the right noise, and start a conversation about how better to get our leaders to communicate with the public. This idea of going ad lib and speaking freely is not for everybody. Not everyone is a global speaker, okay? Not everyone. Every politician is not necessarily a good speaker. Naturally, they have to have a flair for dealing with people. But if you've listened to our leader, for example, and I say this with the most respect, there's nothing bad about what I'm saying, but when our leader goes ad lib, our president, and he speaks in Shona, he's a lot more comfortable. But when he speaks in English, it's a speech, it's a bit stiff, it's not necessarily relatable. So these are all things that as digital minds and as young people, we know better. We all watch other leaders speaking, we're in awe, and we're like, wow, you know? But it's because they've got a strong team behind them that brings out the best of them. Whether or not you're going to vote ZANU-PF in 2023 is neither here nor there. But are you going to get paid between now and 2023 to help your leader communicate better? Absolutely. So use the digital space, start the right hashtags, get involved with the right people, network with the right people. You don't need a mentor per se, you just need to connect and speak Xhosa. I respond to people on Twitter who say Xhosa because I get a lot of mentions. I can be not on Twitter for 3 days. Genuinely on holiday, I open Twitter and I've got 83 mentions, but I've been quiet for 3 days. Why are people tagging me all the time? If every tag translated to $1, I mean, hey, you know, but we're still getting there, you know, because there are things I do get paid to do digitally because of my consistent footprint online. That when I was doing my shows, I made sure that the conversation began 24 hours before the interview. If we know we've got the DG of Portras coming and we know the issues about data, please understand that all of Zimbabwe has an opinion. So I made sure that was relevant. I said, guys, I'm bringing you the people who are going to change your data life. Your surfing, your YouTubing, your Netflixing, it's dependent on this very person and how you communicate with them on this interview. It is now Tuesday, the interview's on Thursday. Here's the topic, send your questions. That's how my Twitter following grew, because I made sure that every day I'm giving you content that's relevant, that's engaging. It's not an advert platform, just one outside. Could say, oh, at this, oh, wearing this. No, if you talk, because I'm a chick, I just say, look all great, oh, I change this for never post all the sugar, you know. But there's most days where it's really about the conversation. So I'm thinking we need to transform that. Yeah. So how did I digitize my brand was just that, like I'm saying. From when we were at ZFM, we realized that the world is changing. People do not sit down like we used to and huddle around the TV at 8 o'clock to watch Santa Barbara as a family. It doesn't work like that anymore. Today, I watch and listen to what I want to listen to in my own time. My time for YouTube videos and the inspiration is when I'm showering. If I'm in the shower, it's usually a sermon, Miles Monroe, one of my favorites, you know, or if it's like a inspirational video. Today I was listening to videos about women in ICT, just to get myself in the mood for this conversation. And so all those things then said, okay, ZFM, if the show is at 7 to 8 p.m., and my show is 7:30 to 8:30, so I was also competing with News Hour. Even though at some point, you know, people were rather listening to the radio show instead of the news. But my point is, people want to listen when they want to. So I digitized the brand by saying, all right, what do we have? Those days it was just SoundCloud. So I went to my boss, can we create a podcast, a SoundCloud channel for the station? And as it is, red tape, protocol, I was just like, so I created my own SoundCloud called Revenue, which is still there today. So I uploaded all my shows every day after the show happened. You give it a bit of demand time, you don't post it immediately. You want people to wake up on Twitter the next day and be like, this show is going to which is what you know, until they're now begging you, post up a shorty warning, because I've still got power over my content. Then only when I release the podcast, you then get to listen to what Mutrangwa said about Robert Mugabe. You then get to listen to what Pastor Ivan said about this flag, because I've given that lag time. But that was back in 2016. Now things are faster. I don't have full control over my own content, because anyone can pirate my content and post it on their own platform. So now I've got to be faster than you. Now when I post my video on YouTube for my live show, which is why I only do live, I'm sure I can do recorded interviews, but it's not in my nature. I like this engagement. I like when I'm live, I like that energy. For me, I thrive on that. And that's how my digital footprint grew, because I broke down that wall of, you know, it's a staged interview, it's recorded, it's edited, only watch it when it's packaged. No, be part of the interview. You guys were on my set with me.
Yeah.
You were in my studio with me. There was not one radio show I did where I didn't say, okay, call me, WhatsApp me, tweet me, and I read your comments, I put your questions to the people. So that's how I became relevant, because that channel was not there. And I was like, how do I get them to ask their questions? I'm not your mouthpiece, I'm just a conduit. You get it? So it was more that understanding the value of people wanting the information to be able to access it.
And Lydia, I just want to ask you this, you can feel free to engage, just how is Minerva managing to convert its digital activity or whatever it's doing to leverage on ICT and convert it into actual sales?
I absolutely love what Roveliko has been saying. Digitalization has moved from technology will create millions of US dollars. That was yesterday's mantra. Now, it's technology will replace millions of jobs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That is the mantra. There used to be a time when presenters, ZBC, ZTV, they were the sole owners of information in this country. Now you've got internet radios, you've got real-time YouTube presentations, FaceTime on FBC, on Facebook. I can actually go and create my own program in real time on Facebook. So we have this situation where digitalization for the new generation forget about the traditional deliverance messages or mediums. You have got that power in your hands to reach your direct market without ZBC, without ZTV, without ZFM, without whoever, because technology has made the level playing field very, very level. And the old medias, they are suffering for it. In the morning when I get to the office, I get 4 or 5 newspapers, but I don't need them anymore because I'm on ZFN, I'm on Phoenix, which summarizes all the major news from the night before. Now, you as young entrepreneurs, you need to get your minds into that headspace which says, I have got the freedom of approaching my potential customers directly without the middleman.
Right.
Now, as an insurance broker, as Minerva, we pride ourselves on being the middleman. Our traditional model, which has made us powerful, we are more than 70 years as an organization. And the insurance broking industry has existed since insurance started in the 1700s as Lloyd's. We've got to screw our heads on backwards and say, instead of visiting my client face to face, which we were very proud of, because we prided ourselves in the personal connection, we now have to think of personalizing our connection through digitalization. Today's client, which is yourselves, instant gratification, instant solution, payment right now and then. You don't want a statement which says your bill is due in 30 days' time. Your money is already been demanded by something else. As the insurance industry, we've got to make ourselves absolutely, completely relevant in building your businesses. And your businesses are going cross borders because the digital revolution does not limit you to geographical borders. We are selling health insurance to people in India out of Zimbabwe. We are participating as Zimbabweans to programs that are outside of Zimbabwe without physically leaving Zimbabwe. If you look at your travel insurance, our product is managed out of Spain. Now, if our digital processes are not up to the point where when you travel off to Dubai and you fall sick, you don't actually have to worry about Minerva. You go into a call center somewhere, I don't even know where our call center is. They will organize for you to be airlifted, taken to the correct medical facility, and payment will be made out of Spain. So when you are developing your small enterprises, and let me tell you this, small enterprises are tomorrow's success. Because Africa is an informal continent. If you look at Nigeria with 180 million people, you want to sell a dollar product, assume 50% of the population take that product. You're sitting at $9 million per month.
I receive Father.
But with a pile of filing cabinets and 500 people, you're not going to have a good product. You're going to have to be thinking very smartly into the digital age. And the digital age is coming. I saw an advert, or was it a tender or some article, which says the Industrial Development Corporation of Zimbabwe is selling up to 70% of all its companies to private people. Willowville Motor Industries, Windmill, they've got several companies. And I sat there and I thought, you know, this is an opportunity for us to empower ourselves. This is a government entity. But how do we compete with a Chinese company that wants to buy 70% of Willowville Motor Industries? At the moment, they're assembling 3 different types of cars. Where are you young entrepreneurs? Where are you ganging up together and saying, let's go to government, we've got this product, we've got this electronic product, we've got this digital product, we are working with some company in Korea or in Germany or whatever. Don't let external companies come and buy national assets. So I would lead a group that says, we want to digitalize the manufacture of these pre-done kits. We want to have our own products. We mustn't buy them from Hyundai, Korea, or back wherever they are at the moment. Why? Youngsters, Army has been, we are past it. Why aren't you guys coming together and banging on our doors and saying, go, we need help with the content. I don't have the technological know-how. Go to Ruvenepo and say, Ruvenepo, let's have this young enterprise. Let's find out where we are going to get the technological know-how. The money, don't worry about the money. Things will sort themselves. Because you don't want to import that technology, which is manual, and then compete with Germany, where everything is being done by robots. So my biggest worry is Willowville Motor Industries will be bought by a local consortium, which is still using 25-year-old technology, which will make our cars not competitive. So here you are, digital minds. Digital is not just about the computers, it's about the whole economy. We want you to go into government and say, you are selling sovereign assets which belong to us. Give us the opportunity. And we've got digital solutions. Now, that's when you come in. Because me, I'm knocking on heaven's door. I don't even want the hassle. But you guys, rope us in for the thought processes. Let's create consortia. And then let's go and find the latest digital technology and lift our economy up. That's what I have to say.
You know, I'm actually thinking, I've got a series of questions that I want to ask and engage in them, but I think now is important to let you guys jump into the conversation and because I feel there's so much in there that they are speaking about. So I'll open up for questions. Rumbi, is there a mic? So now I'll just open up for questions. It wasn't my plan, but if you've got no questions, I'll be very glad to continue with, yeah?
I'd just like to say while we get our questions is the topic when I read through about the threat to not digitizing our professions.
There we go.
So every generation has a window in which to make money, right? I've got friends now, older friends, I've got a lot of older friends who sort of in their 40s, who built their houses that they live in today based on the economic meltdown in 2007, 2008, because they used that gap, whether they were doing the changing money thing or fuel or whatever it was, but they built their homes in Alberty Hill, Borrowdale, Glen Lawn based on that gap. So this failure of our professions, especially in Zimbabwe, to digitize, I mean, this is a global conversation, but obviously every economy is at different levels. We cannot compete with Scandinavia, for example. So for us right now, our gap is not in digitized professions, it's in the lack of the digitization of our professions.
There we go.
So as entrepreneurs, my gap right now as Rubenico is entering the digital marketing space for corporates. Because a lot of corporates have the book smart marketers who learned about marketing in 2005, even 1995, and they're still in their man of marketing. Okay, great, but how much do you know about digital?
Yeah.
So that's where my gap is as a Rubenico. Corporates will say, okay, actually, we like what you do online. How can you give us those numbers? How can you give us that following? How do we develop? So for us, I'm saying, let's not be quick to want for our professions locally to digitize, because our gap is right now. Because once they all digitize, and most of us don't want jobs, because a lot of us enjoy the freelance aspect.
Yeah.
There's Diana there who probably doesn't even want to be sitting at a desk from 8 to 5. She wants her freelance aspect, do what she wants, wear her trainers and her t-shirt, just like that, every day. You know? So quite frankly, I think that we need to look at this lack as an opportunity for us right now. The longer it takes for the professions to digitize, even for government to digitize in Zimbabwe, there's more opportunity for us to make the money, because we go in on a consultation basis. These the generation Nana, Lydia, they are on the book, so book smart. I did my degree, therefore chapter 1 says we do it like this, chapter 7 says we do it like that. And we enter an office space, we fight with our immediate boss, because they think, because we're ungovernable, because we know too much. Like she said, information is now so easy to access, that when you tell me that our marketing strategy is based on the one from 2005, how? This is who we are, our mission statement, our goal, it hasn't changed for 70 years, we pride ourselves. No, listen. Your mission, vision, and all that stuff should change every year, because that's how the world is changing. So I think the digitization of our professions, let it take as long as it needs to, but in the interim, hold on to that and find the gaps. Everyone in here has a gap. They have something they can offer a corporate to say, you know what, I can do this for you, but I'll be a consultant. That allows you to consult for Telecel, Econet, and Net1 without them even knowing who's behind it. You get it? Yeah.
So before I give Rumbi, I know Ruvenica did a call for, like I'm looking for a PA and that sort of stuff. So Belinda, I want you to, like, after Rumbi's question, like, I want you to share. Because, I mean, digital got you employed, girl.
It did. Belinda Nyoni is the one I chose. After a search, guys, I got over 300 CVs. I'm not joking. Some people that are studying in South Africa were like, I'm even willing to move back home. Can I just be your PA? Yeah. So Belinda topped the all 300. Please give her a round of applause. Yeah.
So after Rumbi's question, like, I mean, like, in just like what was going through your head, what happened, how's that changed your life? So I just want that.
How's it change your life, Belinda?
Yeah, tell us as well. Does Ruvenica pay well? You know, like, you know, like, I'm just putting ideas out there. So Rumbi.
Please don't share if she pays well.
Well, she's here on a Saturday, isn't she?
Okay, my question is, maybe in the media space, I want to speak about cyberbullying. I understand, of course, I have to follow you because I'm also in the media space, and it took me a very long time to actually be on Twitter. Yet, when I went into broadcasting last year, I was forced to be on social media. I didn't like that space. I'm a consultant for a lot of companies. That's why a lot of people know me, but they don't know that I'm actually that person. So I was never in the public space. It was something that was thrown at me, but I welcomed it because I talked too much, so it was okay for me to be a radio presenter. However, the reason why I didn't want to be in that space was because of some of the experiences that I saw you guys go through, where sometimes people are extremely brutal. They don't know their boundaries. They don't know, this is my personal life, this is not for you to be talking about on social media. How do you handle that? I joined Twitter last year in December. I'm only starting to get active, like maybe in the past 3-4 months, as I get to understand it, not because I don't want it, but because also
there's no running away from it. There's no running away from it, especially if you're in the public space. There's no running away from it. But how do you handle the scrutiny? How do you handle everyone having an opinion on your life?
Okay, so this is how we're going to do this. So Ruveneko is going to answer your question, but before she does, we're going to go to Belinda's story, and then we're going to come to Ruveneko. And then Lydia, I want, straight after Ruveneko, I'm then going to bring it to you, because I'm sitting down and I like a question that I think it was someone here, because the industries that we're in, most of the people here are in service businesses. Like, I'm a radio presenter, I'm a digital person, like, we've got no tangible products. Could I make 100 bottles of that? How can we raise capital, number one, for misunderstood industries and for misunderstood businesses? Do you get that? Because the people you're coming to are saying, Youth Vibes Africa, you've got no clue how many videos Ruva makes and the amount of people she reaches, and it's so international. But how can she then come and raise capital for that and commercialize that thing? So that's how do you raise capital and commercialize a misunderstood industry and misunderstood products and services? So Belinda, Ruveneko, and then Lydia. I'm sure we I was about to say we all have all levels, but I'm sorry.
Like that. All right, so what happened is that I saw Ruveneko's Instagram story looking for a PA with the email address there. And I was with my little sister. I was like, Ruveneko, what's a PA? I think I'm going to apply. She's like, go for it. So I did, and then a few weeks later I got an email saying, if you shortlisted, come for an interview. I was so nervous. I didn't expect a response.
I'm about to be famous.
Like, yeah, you know, like meet famous people and crush every day, yeah, work with them.
Back off.
You can share. So I went for the interview and whatnot, and it was a bit of a back and forth because of something. But then it was finally agreed that, yeah, we would like to work together. The energy, I don't know, we get along personally. I mean, she's an amazing person, and we are.
Would you tell her if she wasn't?
I was like, oh no, sometimes, you know, I was smiling like this.
Yeah. Joking, yeah.
Yeah, so it was interesting. It was a whole, because we didn't meet until the interview.
Right.
Yeah, and I just sent her the CV, and she went through my social media, like Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook,
nice,
to get an idea of what person I was. And other questions that also demanded knowledge of digital media and all that. So, yeah.
And so, this this prior social media, you didn't go to digital school for this, did you?
No, I didn't.
So it was
I
pure.
just did a degree in communication science. So it's a bit of, you learn about it, but you really.
Which means it's information everyone has access to, like Instagram. Everyone is on Instagram, and they could commercialize if they did. That's what I'm trying to say. But it's in everyone's reach. No one needed to.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. That's all I'm trying to get across. That it was in everyone's reach. Instagram, Twitter, whatever it is, and then we can leverage that for much better opportunities. Great. So I'll let you answer Rumi's question.
Sure. I've been asked this question a lot of times, and I tailor the answer based on the audience each time. Because I think people are at different places in life, but the general answer is always the same, which is that to deal with the hate that comes to you online, number one, like I said, I can be quiet for 3 days, and I can open my Twitter, and there'll be mentions and conversations that are happening without me, sometimes about me, and I haven't even responded or said anything. So when you understand how much of a giant with 10 heads the internet can be, you cease to take offense so much. I think I had to go through a lot of bashing and beating to deal with it. And Sibu knows, we've talked about this person, and she's like a big sister to me. And she knew that during some of my shows, if she listens to a show a night before on ZFM or whatever, that was a bit heated, where naturally it sparks all the MDC to descend upon you because you have grilled their leader, or whether it's the other way around, if I've been hard on ZANU BF, which is worse for me because of who my dad is. So when I upset ZANU, I'm in big trouble. So you realize that you cannot please everyone. And you just have to find a space where you stay professional. If you notice I don't respond, once or twice I will, because because I am a human being. And sometimes you will really read it and be like, oh, brush it off. But to be honest with you, there are days it really gets under your skin, because you're like, you actually don't know me.
Yeah.
And you actually don't know what you're talking about. And people talk about you with such authority, as though they're your sister.
Exactly.
You know, and when they then attack you on social media, you realize that a lot of their biases are, some of it is just prejudice, because you're a Ruvenic when you're a Padrinha, it's the whole name thing. So a lot of that plays a part, but I also think that not to always blame my dad for the hate I get. I've now made a name for myself with the work that I do. Some of the hate is purely self-inflicted, where some people just don't like how I might glow and lakulu. Because of our culture, some people are like, you're just a little disrespectful brat. How can you speak to grown-ups like that? Is a minister. He's a whole minister. How can you talk to him like that? Because there's that patriarchal element. So they just look at you as, you who raised her, you know? So they forget to remove the professional side from the young black woman side. Yes, I'm a young black woman, but when you're in my studio, it's my studio, and we're having a discussion about your work. So I should have the authority and the right to ask you questions about your work. I don't go offside. And if I do need to ask someone a personal question, like Justice Priscilla Chiguma, for example, before the interview, we agreed that I was going to ask her about this alleged relationship with Minister Chitando. I didn't spring it on her, because she's a woman that I respect. She sits in an office that the public should respect. And I wasn't going to just go under her dress without her knowing. So I spoke to her before. I said, are you comfortable with us discussing this? And she said, absolutely. In fact, let me address it, because it is important. Yes, there was backlash after that. That was unprofessional. It was the most unprofessional journalist I've ever heard in Zimbabwe, in the world. How can she ask a woman about who she's sleeping with? So everyone will have their opinion, but sometimes people don't understand the logic behind it. There's always a method to my madness. If I want to give you guys something to talk about, I'll give you something to talk about. If I don't want to talk, I won't talk. So I now take authority over my social media narrative. I post when I want, I speak when I want, and I'm not bullied or jeered into a position. Some people say, Minister, comment on this. If your father's minister of health, comment on the strike. How can you say nothing? I don't work for the Ministry of Health. If I don't have an opinion about it, I simply don't have an opinion about it. So you now need to remove yourself from their opinions, because people can define you and mold you. You can wake up some days and feel worthless, like you are nothing. Some will say, it must go back to journalism school. I'm like, do you know how many years I put into doing what I do? Then you want to tell me to go back to school? So you can choose to get offended and fight every person that attacks you, every troll that attacks you. When you realize that these people don't know you, then it's literally, I take it biblically, forgive them for they know not what they do. They don't know me. Yes, I can be tough. Yes, I can be all sorts of things. Nobody's perfect. When it comes to my work, my research, I put in my 100% effort in everything that I do. Everyone has bad days at the office. There's been days I've admitted, okay, that interview was a bit of a mess up. In fact, I shouldn't have asked that, or I could have done this differently. I'm human. And I mess up and I err. Everyone errs, you know? So the thing is to just not let it define you. I think that's what's important, because I would have completely buried myself in a sack by now with the things people say. The hate mail can be bad. The worst was when someone said to me, when there was that doctor's strike, when there was that placard going around saying, okay, 325, you know, when that was their salary. And I remember, for me, instinct was to laugh, because, okay, it's funny. But then I thought about it deeper, and I was like, this is actually bad. And without taking offense, there's a bigger issue. Yes, Dad, you probably need to pay them more. But the biggest one for me was when someone said, your hospitals are poor in terms of service and all of that. When I find you, I'm going to rape you, and you're going to have to get admitted into hospital and know what it feels like to be served in a public institution. There are no drugs to even help you to protect you from the diseases that I have. It was an evil tweet. And I nearly took a screenshot and made noise about it. But then I was like, to what end? Because then you're giving that guy a mouthpiece. Because if you have 23 followers, and then I retweet you or reply you with my 200 and whatever thousand followers, I've given you precedence. That's all better. That's all a platform to be the ugly person that you are. So it's actually better to block you and delete you from my life altogether, because it can get bad. But you just have to be strong. Some people say don't read it, but it's a notification that comes on my phone. How do I know if it's hate or love? I can't control what I read, because if you tag me, I'm going to see every single thing. Because I handle my own social media. Ask Belinda. The only thing I ask her to do is to go through my Facebook inbox, because that can just be work, because that's also work. It's my work platform. But my Instagram, my Twitter, my WhatsApp, it's all here. So Noya Kwandidi directly. So I can just say I've matured into having a thick skin.
Lydia, so just if you've got a question, just show me by hand, as Lydia is just answering the capital question, so answer it. So after that, I'll come to you and then to you.
Okay. One of the things that we experience from rising entrepreneurs is, can you finance me with this? Can you finance me with that? I'm looking at this and whatever. The corporate world is unkind. We live by the budget. If I put in a budget in August saying I'm going to make $5 million in profit end of 2019, and these are the costs that are going to go into my budget, and this is the income that I'm going to make, that is what I live and die by. Because capitalism, that is the nature of capitalism. There is no capitalist who goes in for a philanthropic cause and says, maybe, yeah, we can come down on this. They have also borrowed from whoever, and they're heavily geared. So when you approach corporates and you've got brilliant ideas, one of the things you have to keep at the back of your mind is not just about you. What does it mean for the corporate that you are approaching? And do your homework to say, if I come to Minerva and I would like to facilitate a healthcare product, and I've thought of this brilliant healthcare product, it goes beyond just the IT mechanics of it. It's got to be a business case. Because that's how we roll in the private sector. We are there to make money, and unashamedly so.
Yeah.
If you want aid, go to British Embassy or US Aid or whoever, Danida or whoever wants to build you up. But I think as corporates also, we need to put aside a budget that helps develop our own internal people. And we, as Minerva, we've got a very small budget that we have for innovation. And I'll tell you, we employed somebody who's got a master's in anthropology. Don't ask me what that has to do with insurance. And she also did concurrently a master's in financial analytics. Now that girl, for me, this is about the girl child. She is currently spending the next 3 months in South Africa training on financial analytics for insurance, and specifically for small entrepreneurs. Now, when we've got products like that, that's when we can plug in where we find where the needs are. And if we know what your area of digitalization is and how we can plug it into the very experimental, very expensive programs that we are doing. But if you come to us and you say, I would like a $50,000 loan or grant because I want to develop this, it's got to come from zero, which means you've got to do all your research about our business and tell us how it is going to revolutionize our business. All too often we get off the shelf, somebody has gone onto the internet and they've seen this product we've got in Singapore, whose economic conversation is completely different from ours. So we need you to be very specific in terms of your savviness to what we are doing. And you have to do that with any of the private sector companies that are operating here, because we are not a very attractive investment destination. And those of us that are operating here, we are working on a shoestring.
Yeah.
So if you can take us out of this shoestring with your product and jointly we can demonstrate how it is going to grow us to a quantum organization, let me tell you, we never will be there with you. But all too often as a CEO, my biggest disappointment is brilliant minds that just come and they want to take, but they can't demonstrate to me how my company is going to look after that. Yeah. So when you do your research, get real and most companies will be willing to open our books for you to do a proper cost-benefit analysis in terms of what we are doing. Because we are paying for licenses, for instance, outside the country in digitalization, because we cannot get equal products. We've just moved off our healthcare international product to a local product. But I must tell you, it is like pulling teeth for our local developer to understand our business model. So what I say, I come from an HR background. For me to move into operations, I had to move out of HR and think like a business person. If you are into the digital movement, forget about the digital when you develop products. Think about what that business wants to achieve, because ultimately it's the result. Then say, digitally, how do I move these guys from where they are to where they want to be? And that really is the end of it. Because at the end of it, computers service a real pulsating human being. And if your product does not meet a pulsating human being's desires, then it will remain in the lab.
All right, so
Can I ask a question to her from what you just said?
okay,
Yes.
all right, go ahead.
The reality with corporates, even though you sound very forward-thinking and would be open to a young person coming in and saying, this is what I want to do, you also are not yet appreciating our value. You want our services, but you want them for cheap. And then you want our services, then you want to own them. You know, and that's an issue with us as young people. We don't value IP and all of that. We don't guard our service and our product. When we come to you because you got the money for it, you can't pay us our value. Why don't you sort out? Because that's what makes us not want to come to you. Then we'll leave you with your book smart marketers and your corporation. We'll watch all your adverts. We'll go on our WhatsApp groups and laugh and laugh and laugh and say, did you see this advert that came out? Dan knows what I'm talking about. We dissect every single piece of marketing that is churned out of this country on this platform. And because most people there have tried to approach and tried to help. But meanwhile, they go there and the offer they're given is just not worth their salt. So they'd rather continue to freelance. So how would you you know what, there's value in these young kids. Let's pay them what they're worth, let's retain them, and let's use them, like you said, to take us from analog to digital.
Thanks for that. We are a living example of the average age in my office is 34 years old, so I'm a fossil. So we've got, I always say managing my team is like herding cats. One goes that direction, one that direction, and I have to keep bringing them back. Some even go back because they're so young. For me, that keeps me alive. So the example that I've given you, we had a healthcare product that came out of South Africa. We're paying $60,000 to South Africa, but we're not getting the product. We found a local developer, and we sat with him, and we have jointly developed this product. It's not proven yet, but we actually dumped the South African one, and we said, let's go local. During the process of 12 months, we have actually put in quite a lot into making this product come to life. He has been the developer. He wakes up one morning. He's a one-man band. We are a $10 million business. We're not a big company. One-man developer. Suddenly he turns around and he says, I now want to be paid in US dollars. We've been working really well. I think he's got it into his head that I think I've locked them in. I want 60,000 US dollars and I want 10,000 US dollars support. Now, we basically developed the product because what we told him is we wanted to do this, 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 and he's been good. But in terms of disaster recovery, he's one person. If he's knocked over by a bus, he's refusing to give us the source code, he's holding on to everything. So now, we put our faith as a corporate into a local person, but he's not playing ball. He also has to understand that we've got a business to run. You cannot hold your clients to ransom. We are being held to ransom at the moment. And tomorrow, if you ask me, are you going to go down the same route? I'll think, you know, the South African office, it 150 people. If one dropped off, at least I would know that my client data is protected. So, guys, you also have to start thinking corporate, especially if you want to play in the corporate arena.
Yeah.
Don't go in and say, I'm a Mark Zuckerberg, or Zuckerberg, or whatever his name is pronounced, and I'm it. Corporates live beyond the it. Once I'm gone, that healthcare system should be able to sustain 65,000 lives that are going through that system. And here I am, when I sit in my board, they're telling me, what's the disaster recovery plan on this? What happens if this guy is run over by a bus? And he's refusing to either have a two IC, second in command, who has the same source code. So let's stop thinking about being scarcity model type people who says, I don't share because if I share, I lose out. The more you share, the richer you get. And I think Zimbabweans particularly, and that's our biggest problem.
And you know what, guys, because I think these are important conversations, but we don't have time. So I want you, when I give you the opportunity, to go back and allow them to give us, because I'm only left with like 10, 15 minutes before we dismiss them. She has to go to Castle Tankard. So, you know, like, there's Brian.
The Thirsty Thursdays, I've never heard of you until today. I know Tariro, Victor Pinonga, Bob Masike. Who are you? And how do you become you? Be a pest. Because the next function that we do, we remember the last person we spoke to. Create your own network of marketing people. And they must come and say, next Minerva Golf Day is on the 16th. What is genre? Because it's got to speak to my audience. I'm in love with Tammy. You know Tammy?
Tammy, yeah.
I've got a women's club that we have every Sunday. I do it to belong. I really don't need it, but I do it to belong. And the one session at my house, we do house, and I said to Tammy, you asked me to mentor you. Come and give us a 30-minute performance. She came with her dad and her mother. And she did her thing, and she did her thing, and I did her. She's since been invited to 3 gigs from that pool.
Yeah.
You know, makes sense. You just have to eat humble pie. It's not going to start off at the stage.
Right.
Just infiltrate yourself. Even if you perform before 6 people, give it your all.
Yeah.
Start small and infiltrate, given the circumstances. And in terms of the IT, even if you look at the IT, there are very few women in the insurance industry. My head of IT is a lady. And I see the way she struggles with the very patriarchal suppliers that we deal with. Even the people that write our programs, they are primarily males. So it's one of those industries which is a bit like banking, which took a while to embrace women. But even if you look at banking, the women are the tellers and the marketing people. They are not the core executives. So it's an industry where we are struggling to break barriers. And this is where I think women can come, young women can come in with revolutionary products and prove that we can do stuff. I mean, something as simple as just getting a USSD code for Minerva has taken me 3 years to do. My IT manager has just been banging her head against walls, but because I'm IT illiterate myself, I don't know whether it's a level of incompetence on her part or she's actually genuinely getting difficulties in accessing it. And then we spoke to some guy, and he says, no, get you a USSD code in 3 weeks. Now I'm thinking, this is 2 years I've been trying to get this. So my IT lady, where have you been? So it's a very complex situation where you have the people that are controlling even the release of the USSD codes are guys. And the female goes in and she's given a smoke screen of loads and loads of issues. I talked to some guy who's linked to those guys and he tells me, not a problem. So we have to be real, guys. The gender war is real, not only in terms of upward movement, but lateral access to information. You also have that. And ladies, don't wait for somebody to pick you up and take you. You need to wake up and grab it. It's painful. I've been fired because I grabbed the lateral challenge. I've been retrenched and taken back because I've grabbed the lateral challenge. So Zimbabwe didn't become independent because we were all nice to each other. People died. And I'm not saying you're going to die as IT professionals. Today is the girl child in IT, isn't it? You cannot change a whole system by just being a girl and saying, I'm a girl, I deserve to be there. No, it does not work like that. Stick your neck out and get noticed. Thank you.
Sorry guys, like the organizer just looking at me like, yeah, director, but lunch up there. So please, I'm really sorry. Please allow me to just close this here and just thank these two awesome women for just sharing with us. And I know you're really busy, so I really appreciate the honor you gave us and you pitched up and you just shared from the heart. Weren't they awesome? Yeah.